Well, hello. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Um, let's turn that on. Let's turn Blast Sheep on. Let's have it all happening now. Hey, how you doing, Blash? Blash?
I'm great. Look, Mr. Black Sheep here. Looking forward to babbling.
Yeah. I had an intention for this, as I kind of explained to you earlier the week, and then every time we get chatting, we end up going in so many directions, and we always end up saying we should be live during this. So I think we're going to incorporate that um, into the down the rabbit holes a little more, because I think that would be. I think people would be interested in listening to us babble about the different things going on in the world today. But before we get into babbling, I do have an agenda for this live stream that I would like to get through in regards to CO2. And this I have purposely not even brought to your explain to you how all the details of what I want to discuss. But hey, let's get into this, okay? Hi, everybody. Oh, ooh, coffee. Ooh, thank you.
There you go, Snuckums. Would you like anything else, my lord and master?
Hey, I didn't get
What
any
the
coffee.
fuck? Who the hell are you? I'm surprised I didn't get the coffee dumped on my head. All right, let's get into this. All right, let's start here, I guess. Why not? So there's a new petition in Parliament asking for Trudeau's resignation. You guys can sign up for it currently. I just refreshed that just a minute ago, so we gained 3 signatures since I refreshed it a minute ago. But yeah, it's basically calling for Trudeau's resignation again. New petition in Parliament. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of putting a petition that comes up every single day in Parliament asking for Trudeau's resignation. I like the idea of this, but that's not what this is doing, because, well, we just had the one just the other day, and now this one doesn't close until March 11th, so it won't be heard until the 12th or later. We're talking like almost 2 months after the last one. I like the idea of this, but I think, yeah, I don't know. I agree. We should be signing these. I don't know. I thought I'd bring it to your attention. It's there if you'd like to sign up.
Yeah,
There's your email address, because I know some people get leery on links. So there it is. All right.
yeah. I mean, if the last one got what 385,000 signatures, I'm not sure. If we even top that, will it even do anything?
Yeah, exactly. They just kind of blew it off and countered it with a petition that the Liberal minister claimed was going to outdo the 400,000 Canadian signature petition, with a petition that had 30 votes on it.
Oh,
And he claimed that he was gonna outdo her. She says, "Oh, do that," and he says, "Yeah, I'll outdo that. I have a petition here." Talking about the Ukraine trade deal. Oh, that's so
wow.
driving me crazy. The liberals and the media are completely skipping the actual issue that keeps being told to them by the conservatives, why they're voting against this bill, and they keep ignoring that to keep telling Canadians that the conservatives are voting against free trade with Ukraine. They're against Ukraine, and they keep drumming it up as conservatives are against Ukraine. But the issue, why conservatives are voting against it is because it includes wording that demands that a carbon tax be imposed on both countries in order for the trade deal to be valid. Had this conversation already once. Hey, Dickard? Damn, I haven't seen you in a while, buddy.
He says, "Oh, a bungaroo."
A bungaroo? I have no idea what that means, but it sounds good.
I'm glad I'm not alone on that. I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know if I should say it or not.
All right, shall we get into today? Today is about my little delve into CO2 and the atmosphere. There's going to be a little bit of science stuff happening here. I'm going to be discussing, but I promise not to get too sciencey about it. But there will be some sciencey stuff that I will be talking about when I'm in this. And then we'll delve into some flat out lies that I saw today in question period. Yeah. Alrighty. CO2. And I'm going to start with this news article. Why Canadian advocates say fines for animal abandonment can be a deterrent. Now, everybody and their dog right now is going, What the hell?
Dickard said, "Please no math and no tests at the end."
No guarantees. The test is how much you guys absorb this and take this into your own lives and take this information and do what you will with it. That is the test. Okay, so why does this make me think of CO2? Well, this is a horrible thing. Animal abandonment, I'm 100%. This is horrible. It should never happen. I don't dispute the fact that people abandoning animals is wrong. So that's not what this whole conversation I'm going to have about this is not to endorse animal abandonment. I honestly don't. I love pickles. I love Brie. Inviting them into my home was to give them a place to grow up and have a decent life with me and my family. So my animals mean a lot to me. Now, you do have to ask yourself, whatever brings someone who takes on an animal, whatever brings them to the point that they abandon their animal. And the problem that I see with this is that you're saying fines are a deterrent. Well, you don't need a deterrent for animal abandonment. You need mechanisms that allow people to give up their animals. We don't have that. So you're applying fines when there's no alternative to people that currently in this current economic environment in Canada, they lose their home. They lose their jobs. They can't afford food for their own family. And they have an animal that they need to take care of, but they can't take care of. Now, an animal can go out and it can forage for itself. It's kind of the mentality of why people abandon these animals. Again, I'm not promoting it. I'm not encouraging it. I don't support it. But there's nowhere for anybody. There's no support mechanism for people that can't keep their animal. A good example is, you have a female dog. It's not fixed, but that's due to costs or whatever reasons. It's not fixed. It accidentally gets pregnant. Now you're stuck with these puppies. So you go on Facebook and you're selling your puppies. No one takes your puppies. You now have 6-month-old dogs not puppies anymore. And nobody wants that. And you're trying to take care of now 8 puppies and the mummy and your family and everything and the finances around the world. It just, you just can't do it. So people end up giving these dogs away to wherever, and some of these people take on dogs because they think it's cool and realize, oh, I have to feed it? Oh, I can't do that. This is how dogs end up getting abandoned. So you're going to find people for suffering making, not necessarily, well, yeah, they are making bad decisions, or, making a good decision in the moment that turns out to be a bad decision in the long term. I feel this is the wrong mentality we have. And this is where I take it over to CO2. Okay, we apply the carbon tax. Where is it? Where the heck are you, you dumb fool? Where did I put you? Oh, no. What the heck did I do with you? Yeah, here he is. Here's the dumb fool right here. And that's where this guy comes in. Because currently we have no alternative to heating our homes efficiently than to use carbon producing options. Even if we choose to use electric, most electrical grids have a carbon element to that grid. So it's song and dance saying use electric heat pumps. Okay, but does it matter if it's gas-fired power generation? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We seem to be dancing around and, punitive. We're so punitive towards the application of this policy. Instead of creating the environment of incentivizing people to take action, we create the environment of punity. So no matter who you are, you're going to pay the price no matter what, right? Well, except Gilbo, who flies across the country and around the world preaching about environmental issues on taxpayer-funded jets. And I'm rather confused on that, because I'm sure he doesn't ride his bicycle when he goes from Ottawa, meetings in Ottawa to meetings in Vancouver. I honestly don't see that from him. That's more a James Tops type thing, but we know how much he loves James Top, and his government loves James Top, but that's an entirely different conversation. Okay, I just lost all viewers with my babble. Look at that. Oh, no, I didn't. Just think. Anyway, so this is the problem, and this is where it ties back with this. We create punitive policies and such for situations we have zero control over. Well, not zero control, but basically no control. No alternative means but to pay the punitive price. Okay. Where are you going to give up 8 dogs? If you went to the SPCA with 8 dogs, they would lose their shit on you. And you would probably lose the mother as well. If you went there with the 8 puppies that you couldn't get rid of. You would end up losing the mother because they would tell you you're not allowed to have any animals if you're deciding to give up one animal. So nobody will go to the SPCA to drop off their animals. So then they end up with a fine because they can't take care of 8 dogs and a mother.
I just want to say that the SPCA is absolutely useless. Like the one time I called them because I knew an animal was being neglected and abused, and they said, "Oh, yeah, we'll get someone on that." And yeah, I think I called them even twice, and yeah, they said, "Oh yeah, again, we'll get someone on that." And no, nothing ever happened. So
yeah,
yeah.
Like they even closed the SPCA office here in North Bay and made it a private company's taken over it now. It's so if it's a private company, it's for profit. Well, they're not going to let you just give away animals to them willy-nilly. Everybody and their dog giving them animals. You know, back in the day, we used to have pet stores that we could just, you know, go to them and say, hey, I got these dogs, and you sell them. And people used to go around to the pet stores and buy up these dogs, but they weren't neutered and all the other jazz that the SPCA requires you to have for them. And this is where, you know, I don't know. I understand they want animals to be at a responsible home and such. Just because somebody doesn't live a particular lifestyle doesn't mean that it's irresponsible. But either way, and circumstances can always fall out of line for where their path had intended. Believe me, I know very well about that.
So you want to tie this to CO2? So I'm curious how.
Well, it's the punitive idea, the punitive mentality here is the problem with this. That we apply the same punitive mentality. So they want to apply fines to animal abandonment, right? Without even the discussion or the idea of actually thinking, hey, how can we encourage people to give up their animals if they can't take care of them? There is no alternative, but not really no alternative, but there's basically no alternative to someone that has a mother dog that they love and has been part of their family forever that accidentally gets pregnant and they can't get rid of the puppies. There's no alternative to them getting rid of the 8 puppies and keeping the mother without having to lose the mother as well. So they end up, for a lack of, I'm not saying I'm not encouraging it, I'm not anything, but I can understand why they end up abandoning the 8 puppies.
And to think about it too is if they abandon them and they get a fine, those pets are still abandoned, so they still have to find a home for them. So having a fine doesn't really do anything because those pets are still abandoned.
We need mechanisms to support people that can't keep those 8 puppies, can walk in and say, look, I've got these 8 puppies. I've tried to get rid of them on Facebook or wherever. I can't do it. I don't know what to do with these dogs, and I can't keep them. But I am keeping my mother dog that has been part of my family. And that being okay. We don't have that mechanism anymore. And the tie back to the carbon tax is the same thing. Okay, I need to go to work every day. I need to heat, or let me start there where I started originally. I need to heat my house, okay? The alternative to heating my house is there is no alternative. In northern Canada, like, heat pumps don't work. So you have to pay, you're being punished for no alternative than to produce carbon. And this is where the problem is. That's what the whole CO2 thing is based on. Is, if you produce carbon, it's illegal to produce. We're going to make it illegal to pollute, they say. Well, then you should have an alternative to polluting. But you don't have that. Even if you decide to get a heat pump, okay, in one of these cold regions of Canada, the power that's supplying that heat pump is coming from a carbon emitting source. So you're not escaping nothing here, because the power generation price is still going to reflect that carbon tax. I have to go to work every day. Everybody has to go to work. Go to the doctors or whatever. You have to go shopping. You have to get into a vehicle, whether it be your personal vehicle, a taxi, a bus, whatever. Go to wherever you need to go to and purchase or do whatever you have to do, whether go to work or whatever, and get back home. Now, even if you say you ride a bicycle, okay, that, hey, that's pretty green. Except for the steel that it makes, the carbon it produces when it makes the steel to make that bike, or the rubber, or all the products that are included in that bicycle. You know, you're still producing carbon dioxide, CO2. So you're paying carbon tax for everything in life, although there's no alternative. It's a punitive tax, nothing more. There's no incentivization for people to find a different route.
Yeah. It's just another tax for existing.
Exactly. It's a breathing tax, is what it is.
Joan McDonald said, if they're so concerned about the amount of carbon, why are they bringing more people into the country? More people, more carbon.
Because it's more taxes. It has nothing to do, the carbon tax has nothing to do with cleaning the environment. They can go on and on and on and on and on and about, you know, carbon taxes. I did a video, I think it was last summer, and I showed Air Canada and their tax write-offs. And they're using, you know, carbon tax offsets, you know, for the Great Bear Forest or whatever it was that burnt up in BC, producing mega million tons of carbon. But they didn't have to pay, but Canada didn't have to pay taxes on that because, you know, they invested in there. And this is what the industries do to offset their carbon tax. But, you know, that's not available to me to drive to work every day. You know, where am I going to get a carbon offset company that's going to take my 3-kilometer drive to work and allow me to carbon offset? Nobody's going to take that money. No one's going to say, oh, well, if you pay me this much, then you don't have to pay the carbon tax. Well, I still have to pay the carbon tax no matter what when I go to the gas station. It's not available to the average people. And the average people are the ones that are paying this punitive tax for the industry. The industries that are producing it. And I'm not saying that the industries producing it have an alternative to what they're doing either. You know, it takes carbon, literally carbon and iron to create steel. Steel is everywhere in our society. Everything. Okay? You literally have to combine carbon and steel together to make, or carbon and iron to make steel. Like, what alternative is there to making steel? There is none.
Living in mud huts?
Creating aluminum? Aluminum is even more energy intensive to produce. It's so dumb. Now, this guy here, he says we spend $200 billion on climate action stuff. I just saw it the other day. Was it today? 200 billion in...
Jones said, I'm looking for a good cave myself.
Carbon... No, climate.
Maybe you can use the heat pump in the cave. Jill said, I want a mud hut with a thatched roof. I'm not sure what that is.
Here it is. 200 billion spent on climate action. For what? Okay, first off, Stephen Guilbeault and the Liberal government and the government of Canada, anybody over there, have not put 1 cent into this $200 billion. You and I have. We're the ones... Yeah, I'm just reading that. I was actually focused on what I was... I actually wouldn't mind living in a mud hut. Technology, though, I live in a modern world. I need technology. That's the only problem. We all need it. This $200 billion spent on climate action, okay, none of them have that money. That is Canadian taxpayers' money. Okay? Give me a calculator. Can I get a calculator? Okay, April 1st. April 1st this year, our carbon tax will be $65 a ton, right? The average Canadian, no, not this one, no, hold on. No, we'll get to that. Okay, the Globa? The global per capita carbon dioxide emissions average is 4.66 metric tons, okay? And we are going to be spending $65 a ton. So 4.66 times, as of April 1st, this is how much per year, per capita, we are responsible for. $302. Okay? Now, per capita in Canada, for Canadians, it's 14. So let's clear this out. Actually, I just want to redo this. I want another calculator because I want to leave this number up. Okay, now it's 14 tons per Canadian citizen. I can look it up if you want, but no, I'm not going to right now, okay? Take my word for it. Times 65 equals $910, okay? $910. Now, there are 40 million people in Canada.
Frosty said hempcrete bricks are extremely strong, lightweight, while both fire and insect proof.
1, 2, 3.
And he also said, actually, technically, it's the bank's money that we get charged compounding interest to use.
Alright, what is that? 40,000. No, that's 3 zeros too many. How can I do that? Whoop. Nope. Let's try that again. Oh, okay. There we go. 40 million people times $910. Nope. Nope. Equals 364 billion. Okay. I'm pretty sure. 1, 2. Nope. 36 billion 400 million. Yeah, 36 billion 400 million. If you add your commas in there. Okay? So, Canadians are, as of April 1st, 2024, April Fool's Day, because this is the April Fool's joke of a lifetime. The Canadian government on the Canadian people, okay? The Canadian people are responsible for $36.4 billion for the carbon price at the rate that'll be April 1st. Where was it? Here.
Joan says her birthday, so April 1st is her birthday. She gets taxed extra on her birthday. Congratulations.
You were the April Fool's joke to your parents? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. It was there. I couldn't resist. My chat has disappeared again. It was there. I'm sorry. Just take it for the joke it is. So, you've taken $200 billion and spent it on climate action. And as the editorial here says, for what? You really haven't produced anything concrete on climate action in Canada. Canadians are supposed to have spent $36.4 billion. Okay, I think I did this calculation before in a different video. It's sounding, but worldwide we're 302 times 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 12,116,000,000. That's what we're responsible for as Canadian citizens in a global view. Okay. Where the hell did it go? That's the only problem with having all these open. No. Nope. Totally. That's later. Much later. Much later. Here, go that way. I forget where it went. Ah, no, that's CP. I was trying to find how much CP pays in carbon tax, and I can't find it. They have all this nonsense, but they don't exactly explain what all this is. So they don't say how much they actually pay in carbon tax. It's kind of funny. I did find out that, I need to turn this on to show this one. I did find out how much they charge for carbon, the carbon dioxide emissions surcharge. I did find that. So there's that, but doesn't tell me how much they actually pay. So we'll get back to docs afterwards. That's the wrong one. And then I found this, which says that the fuel surcharge is paid by the supplier and not the carrier. So there is that. And where is it? Right here. Right here. In 2019, is it?
Oh, hello, Kalesh. Good evening to all, and thank you for this live. It is a very important topic for sure. Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, good evening. How do you say your name? Because, yeah, that my brain don't do that. Sorry.
You'll have to host a live stream on how to pronounce your name, and we could all join.
Or type it out phonically for me.
I like the name, though.
It's so tiny, I have a hard time reading it.
It is not my name.
It is your name to me right now. Anyway, I'm off topic. Here. All right. So when he's spending that $200 billion and he's claiming Canadians, we're causing all this harm to the environment and everything else. Now, this is where I'm going to get a little sciencey on you guys. Because I came across an article which really, it was eye-opening to me. And we talk about, the science that we know about climate change and everything else, right? And one of the things I've always said is we don't understand everything about everything. We think we understand everything about everything, but there's always new information that's constantly coming in that should make us reevaluate stuff. Well, I found an article that was produced, how long ago? March last year, so a year ago. And, well, you can read it for yourself. Hubble finds Saturn rings are heating its atmosphere. And as soon as I read that, I was like, interesting. So then I read through the article, and it turns out what is happening is when the sun hits the particles in Saturn's rings, which, if we all know, I'm sure everybody knows by now, Saturn's rings are nothing but just tiny rocks and ice and just debris, basically, but small debris. There was a debate at one time that, whether each object was a moon around Saturn, and everybody kind of went, yeah, we're not even going to start to count that. No, that's not a thing. But there is that debate. But anyway, the sun's rays are hitting Saturn's rings and deflecting the particles in the rings down into Saturn's atmosphere and changing the atmosphere in Saturn and heating everything up. Now, if you think about how far out Saturn is from everywhere else, I mean, like, you got to get past the asteroid belt and past Jupiter before you come to Saturn, and we're talking millions and millions and millions of miles here, hundreds of millions of miles, whatever. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I probably could figure it out. This will give you a general idea on what it looks like. No, it won't, because it changed. Why did it change on me? That doesn't make sense. The last time, when I first started watching this, the sun was in the center and then the planets went out. And I don't understand why it changed all of a sudden. But either way, doesn't matter. So this really struck me. And I got to looking into, meteorites and such. And it got me thinking, how much are we accounting for the sun's rays hitting the particles and stuff that's all around Earth and deflecting onto Earth? And also got me thinking about where meteors entering the atmosphere. Because if I go to Britannica, and I'm going to play this probably to this point, about 38 seconds, and it'll explain what a meteorite is.
A meteorite is a fragment of spatial matter that falls to the surface of a planet. Most meteorites that fall to Earth come from a part of the solar system located between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, the asteroid belt. Attracted by Earth's mass, the rocky or metallic fragments enter Earth's atmosphere at very high speeds. They become so hot that they burn up.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there just because this is where I want it. There was a couple of things in there that I want to bring up. They burn up. Anybody who's ever seen a video of a meteor coming to Earth, you've seen this. Matter of fact, let's go look at one. Can we just have a small one? I really don't want to. Boom. Right? You see that big flash. You see that burning. Okay? What happens when you burn some? It off-gases. Right? We're constantly getting bombarded by these meteors. And they're made of all kinds of things. Like sometimes it's comet debris, which is a lot of ice and such coming into the atmosphere. But just every element in the universe is out there coming in and hitting the planet. Okay? But something also that I wanted to think about here was what they said in there. Oh, hold on 1 second. I know what I'm trying to do here. Was this. They are attracted to Earth's atmosphere by the gravitational pull of Earth. Now, and that's where this is screwing me up because it's not showing me what I wanted to see when I originally... Let me try refreshing this because this... It doesn't make sense why it changed. Because currently, the reason I'm trying to bring this up is currently all the large planets of the solar system are currently on the other side of the sun from where we are at this time, at the beginning of this year. I guess it sort of shows it here. Because you see, here's Earth, the sun, and all these large planets are... Can you stop that? All these large planets are on the far side, pulling Earth closer towards the sun, where the heat is. Okay? Not too bad. Oh, sorry, I'm just... Right, we're currently going around the sun like that. And then finally, we get out from behind all the... all the large planets are finally out from behind the sun. And it was right around May when all those forest fires were going off all around Canada. Okay, we finally started popping out from, or stopped getting pulled as strongly towards the sun without any pull the opposite direction. Yeah, I know. We'll get into other things in a few minutes here. I'm almost done here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty lost myself, I gotta be honest, so...
Sorry. All right. So what I'm saying is the planets are pulling the Earth, well, not pulling the Earth, the sun is pulling the Earth towards it without a counterbalance pulling us, keeping us further more in line when the large gas giants are on the other side of the moon. Or the sun, sorry. Which would make it hotter on Earth. It doesn't take much of a degree. 1 degree out of alignment of our current path will broil this planet. 1 degree the other way will freeze this planet. It's really, really, really fine lines here. And it's, partly because the large planets in the outer solar system keep us in balance to where we are, is what I'm saying. So, comes back to carbon. It's, they never have these conversations about all the effects and all the new studies and, new information that comes out about different things that are heating up atmospheres. But we still have to come up with, they're still going to jack our carbon price on April 1st to $65 a ton. Sorry about getting so sciencey there. It was, yeah, I love science, but yeah, I understand that a lot of people get lost in it. But it's relevant to all of this stuff, because if we have different science coming out and we're not willing to apply this new science that came out in March this year, I mean, it's not really that old, or not this year, last year. It came out just 1 year ago. But this conversation needs to be added as well. We have tons of meteors flying around the Earth. We have tons of micrometeors flying around the Earth. They're all made up of all different kinds of elements and such. They burn up when it comes into the planet. Okay. Here, I want to take a look at another video. Where's that one over Russia? Here we go. Here, I'm going to mute it just because. Yeah, I thought there was going to be some. This. Like, look at... You'll see it here. Look at the fireball that's left behind. That's all in our atmosphere. Okay? But that's not accounted for when we pay our carbon tax. This is the problem, is, Guilbeault is out there using the environment as the excuse for the carbon tax. He was out there again complaining about the snowstorm that hit Atlantic Canada. If you've been in Canada for longer than 10 minutes, you know Atlantic Canada gets really wicked winter storms. But
they really tried to tie that to climate change.
Yes, Guilbeault was out talking about it. I don't remember what the keywords are to look that up right now. And trying to tie it to carbon.
I'm sure they've had a storm like that almost every year. You could probably see years where they had more snow. Like, 5 decades ago.
Oh yeah.
And even
Well, that might
earlier.
be what his argument is. Oh, look, there isn't as much snow as 5 decades ago. But yeah, they get bad storms. It's Atlantic Canada. We're also exiting a. Yeah, there is the honest truth, Joan. It's just easier to blame carbon and shut down and charge us more money. Yes. This is actually true.
Oh wow, I don't see that comment.
Really?
No.
Oh, it just
I'm
came
refreshing.
up. It just popped.
I refresh.
I hate YouTube doing that.
Yeah, like you see certain comments, I see other comments.
Yeah, it's. Are you on top messages or all messages?
Oh, top chat. That's why.
Yeah, put it on all. You get it.
There we go. Now I see you, Joan.
Me, I think it's because my phone tabs out after a period of time. Switch to all the mags.
Messages.
Oh, messages.
From top messages.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right. In 2021, in May, the monthly average, it became the highest measurement of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere at 419 parts per million in May of 2021. But what happened in May of 2021? This name of a meteor shower outburst to peak the night of May 4th to 5th. The meteor shower is active through April and May, peaking in the pre-dawn hours of May 5th. This year could be particularly impressive. The outburst of 120 to 160 meteors per hour is expected. And this was in 2021. The same day, the same period that they're claiming was the highest atmospheric carbon dioxide measurement. Okay. It's the same day, like it's the same period since they've been measuring from 63 years ago. The very same day or the same month is when we had 120 to 160 meteors per hour. Okay, in 2021. Like it's just mind-boggling the things that they leave out of the conversation. Oh, that's the gravitational thing. This pisses me off. Oh, that's an entirely different conversation. Yeah, I think I've gone pretty much. Oh, about 25 million meters enter the Earth's atmosphere every day. Most burn up. So what happens when it burns up? Turns into carbon dioxide and methane and all the other elements that it leaves behind. And about 1 million kilograms of dust per day settles on the Earth's surface. Yeah. Yeah, if you can get a place
Wait,
that
what?
has... Huh?
25 million meteors enter the Earth's atmosphere every day?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know. I assumed it was 0. Like one.
Well, a
one
meteor
week.
is any rock. I had it, and I don't think I have it here anymore. I might have closed that window.
But don't like 99.99% disintegrate? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jones says, add it to the volcanic activity.
again, we're going to get a bad reading this year because Iceland, Reykjavik, has been completely consumed in a volcano. Well, not completely consumed. But the town is literally a write-off because of the volcano. The volcano exploded or erupted back in the beginning of January and burnt up 3 houses in the town, has caused huge rifts in the town, has been spewing gases from all over the region. And these aren't good gases. These are like, they're coming out of the core of the earth. They're all the worst of the worst stuff. And it's spewing all over, but they're not taking that into account. Where's our carbon discount for that? Carbon discount. That's what I was that's where I was going with that thing. Yeah. When I was trying to do these. Yeah. So then I started going into, why did the shuttle program end? And this led me down a rabbit hole that I quickly backed out of. Okay. I decided nope. But I'll touch on the edges of it. I'll explain not what I was looking up definitively, in what direction I was looking before I decided I am not looking any further and backed away, and I'll explain that in just a moment here. Okay, so why did the shuttle program end in 2011? NASA's pressures, the party caused chronically high. It was the budget pressures, right? That's all they said was it was the cost of running the shuttle, that they had to stop it, and that was their reasoning, right? Okay, now I need docs again. Boop. All right, here, let's go back. So in 2004, while the shuttle program was in full bore, and they were, they were doing their thing. They totaled $15 billion. This is in millions. See, it says right here, in millions of dollars right here. Okay, so this is $15 billion was their annual budget, right? And that's in 2004, okay, when the shuttle was going good. Then 2012, the year after they shut down the shuttle, okay, was $18 billion. And, well, there's the ramp down costs. You know what, we'll give them a little leeway, a couple of years where they have to, kind of balance things out and get the cost back down and everything, right? Because, the shuttle was an expensive program to run. So they still ran an $18 billion. And even though that is $3 billion more than it was in 2004. But then we go to 2023 budget. $25 billion. So why did they really shut down the shuttle program? Like, because they're still spending way more than they were spending on the shuttle program, right? But this is when they decided they were going to end the shuttle program, is when they were really starting to ramp up about climate change. It was around 2010, 2011, they started starting to push this climate change ideals and, really starting to push it hard. But yet their budget still remains the same, even though that was the main point why they had to end it. Okay, so then, and this is where I looked up, well, what did the shuttle, I started wondering, well, does the shuttle have anything to do with, carbon dioxide? And yeah, so what I did was I looked up, what did the shuttle burn for fuel? And it's hydrogen. Well, hydrogen doesn't produce carbon dioxide. It produces, I forget what it's an inert, like it's inert from burning it. It produces water. Yeah, it's water that it produces when you burn hydrogen. So I was like, okay. But then my brain went, wait a minute. The shuttle's rockets are not what got it into space. The shuttle's rockets were for when it was in space. I mean, they used it to assist during getting to space, but that's not what they used to get it to space. They used the boosters. So I looked into what the boosters were burnt. And that's where I'm drawing a nope, nope, nope. I found out what they burnt. As soon as I looked into the first ingredient, the first website it brought me to is the U.S. military, and I just went, nope, 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 and shut it all down, don't want to even know now. Because, yeah, nope, nope. But it does raise the question. Did they see something that they were doing was causing a problem to our atmosphere and shut it down before anybody else noticed? Or before, and then the conversation got converted into everyday people driving their cars, creating CO2 in the atmosphere, heating, global warming, blah, 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 all this jazz. Now, don't get me wrong. We definitely doing some shit to our atmosphere. I'm not an idiot. You watch that, hillbilly pickup truck with his big muffler hanging out the middle of his box, and it's like a 6 or 8 inch muffler pipe, and it's just spewing black smoke out of it. Yeah, come on. Obviously, that's producing some CO2. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is, we're not having all these conversations. And now this guy is demanding Canadians pay this carbon tax of $65 a ton, coming to a total of $36 billion, $400 million in revenue to him, while Air Canada is getting tax write-offs for investing into carbon offsets. But Canadians don't get that. We still have to pump out this cash. But yet, where's our carbon offset for this $200 billion you just spent on climate action of our money? Where's my carbon offset for this? You took $200 billion, taxpayer dollars, and spent it on climate action, where we're only responsible for $36 billion. Okay? And it's been 4 years, so 36. Let's time this by 4. Oh. That's only $145 billion. Why are you charging me carbon tax? You're spending $200 billion of my money.
It would be even less than that because the carbon tax have gone up every year.
Yeah, this is based off of the carbon tax rate that comes into effect in April this year, not what it has been.
Yeah.
So if I'm 50 billion short right now, you might as well say another 45 billion of that is not real.
Yeah.
So where's my carbon offset for this $200 billion? When I go to the gas station. If Air Canada can use carbon offsets to not pay carbon tax, why don't I get a carbon offset for the money my government takes from me to spend on climate action? Even though you're getting nothing done. That's an entirely different conversation.
So Kalia, phonetically, is Kalia on exhale. So Kalia. Kalia said, question, who and how are they measuring the CO2 tones? How accurate is their measurement?
Tons? That would
Tons, yeah.
be NOAA. NOAA. Researchers seeked out to study tornadoes and severe weather. does NOAA stand for now? I forget what it stands for. National Observation. Oh God, I forget what NOAA stands for.
Agency?
About NOAA research, there's what I'm looking for. What we do.
I see it. National Oceanic. It was up a bit. National Oceanic something. It was
National.
highlighted. National Atmospheric Administration.
There we go. It's a U.S. government thing. But they're the ones who take the atmospheric carbon dioxide measured at NOAA's Mauna Loa Atmospheric Baseline Observatory. Not sure. It's on Hawaii. Yeah. So this is NOAA's Atmospheric Observatory here that are taking these measurements.
Kalia, is there an independent entity that is actually verifying that their measurements are correct? Do we even believe?
I'm sure the UN has an independent company doing it.
Oh boy.
Careful here. Yeah, just like there's a UN company coming up with the genius idea of climate change or carbon tax. And it's run by cotton swabs. All right, where was I here now? I think I'm just about done my rant about carbon pricing.
Jones said they will pocket some of the money and send the rest to the Ukraine.
Yeah. Quite a bit like what I was talking about in my Let Me Tell You a Story video. That's actually... Oh, I actually want to show that. Okay. Go back. Just so that people can see that I'm actually... Stop this. People are actually see what I'm actually clicking on here. Alright, so this is CTV News. Okay. Now I'm going to go to World. Canada. Oh, here's World. Okay. World. Okay. I want to bring to your attention, how much are they talking about the farmer protest in Europe? That's all over Europe. It has surrounded the city of Paris, gridlocked highways all across France, gridlocked Germany, gridlocked Brussels, completely encased the European Union headquarters in Brussels. Okay. With all the talk of world events around the world, okay, why is there nothing in the Canadian news media talking about it? Absolutely nothing. Okay, what do we got here? What do we got? We got Prince William talking. We got American stuff talking about Hamas-Israel deal, which that's not. Yep. Talking about America again, another American conversation. El Salvador opposition warns it may ask to nullify congressional election results. That's not sure how I feel about that one. We got Pakistan making elections. We got Netanyahu, so that's Israel. Another U.S. thing. U.S. medical examiner rules the death of a baby. Oh, I don't even want to read that. U.S. strikes in Hezbollah. Rock climber climbs massive sphere venue in Las Vegas.
Frosty Broccoli says, I've been seeing MSM covering the Europe protests.
You have? When? Where? What? Because I haven't seen any of it. Yeah, Palestine. I send you Broccoli's way. Get ready for a lot of cursing. Yeah, I try and stay clear of other people's fights. Okay, so maybe, I mean, just, I don't know. I'm going through this and I don't see any news. But, I mean, it's just CTV news. It could be anywhere. All right. I want to show a couple flat out lies. Alrighty. You guys ready for this? Let's do this. I like this plan.
If you're gonna play a video, mute the music you have playing.
I have music playing?
Yep.
Oh, I do too. Boop. Oopsie.
I have
All
music
right.
playing.
Here we go.
Ports, after 8 years, the port authorities are only scanning or inspecting 1% of shipping containers leaving our ports. And that led to the case where Mark Roos had his 2021 Dodge Ram stolen. Luckily, he had an Apple AirTag, so he could follow its transit to the Port of Montreal, where he knows it to be. He called both the cops and the Port Authority, both of which said they don't know which box it's in, so they can't find it. So why won't he accept my common sense plan to buy 24 scanners so we can scan the boxes, find the Dodge Ram, and give it back to Mark?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this would be perhaps a little more credible from the Conservative Party if they hadn't cut 1,000 CBSA officers when they were last in government. And they'd proposed to cut 400 more if they had won the 2015 election. The reality is we restored every single border officer they cut and added 800 more. And we're continuing to do the necessary work. We recovered 1,800 stolen vehicles last year. We'll continue to do...
Sorry to interrupt the Prime Minister and to all members. I'm going to ask members please to...
I'm going to pause this just for a second. That was a lie, and I will show it to you in a few minutes.
Keep their comments to themselves until they have the microphone or have the floor, so that.
But it's important to hear Polyev as well.
The Honourable Prime Minister has 15 seconds on the clock.
Mr. Speaker, while Conservatives cut frontline border services officers, along with cuts to the RCMP, cuts to police forces across the country, we invested in them, and we're going to continue to do that with $121 million for Ontario, more investments for port and border security. We're going to continue to step up and keep Canadians safe.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
You know, the Prime Minister's strength is not math, but the facts are that we took office, there were about 12,000 working as CBSA officials, and when we left office, there were over 14,000. So 14,000 is more than 12,000.
That's a lie too.
With the numbers, it's true that we cut back office bureaucracy and high-priced consultants, which he has ballooned, and that's why after 8 years, he has increased auto theft by 32%. Will he accept our common sense plan to cut high-priced consultants and hire more front-line inspectors?
Now, I didn't hear Trudeau's response here, so I just want to hear this.
I can't help but smile when the Leader of the Opposition talks about high-priced consultants, because it's his campaign being run by a high-priced consultant.
That I did hear that. Okay. I can go down that rabbit hole if you want afterwards. All right, so Trudeau says when he came into office, the Liberal or the Conservatives cut 1,000 CBSA workers, and honestly, I think that's accurate. Okay, and I can show that in numbers in a second. But then he went on to say that he added more, and that was a lie. Okay. In 2014, 2015, the CBSA had 13,000 employees. Okay. Polyev said there was 14,000. So yes, Polyev lied about that 1,000. Or it could be that Trudeau's talking about is that 14,000 number was there, and at the end of their term they cut 1,000 of those jobs, which would bring it down to 13,000 employees. So both of them might be right on that point. Okay, they might both be accurate on that. Poilievre's playing to the higher number, Trudeau's playing to the lower number. But even if they had 13,000, and let's say Trudeau's right, they were planning on cutting another 400 workers. That would put it at 12,600 workers, right? All right. In 2023, CBSA had planned this many workers, actually had that many workers. So even if they had cut those 400 workers, according to Trudeau, that they would be down to 12,600 is still more than there are currently, right now, working for the CBSA under the Liberal government. Oh, what happened here? You probably just wrecked my friggin' chat. I hate it when it does that.
It seems that the Liberals, their only solution to an issue is to just throw money at it.
Yeah.
That somehow just throwing money at the problem will fix it.
What we need is employees.
But as we've seen with the healthcare, throwing more money at it isn't fixing it.
No. Like, you need the people to do the work. But Trudeau said that he's brought more workers to the CBSA since before he took office. Well, that's not true. I can show you it right here. There's 13,000 employees in 2014-2015. In 22-23, the actual full-time employees is 10,591. And their plan wasn't even close to 13,000. It was 11,476. So he flat out lied in the House of Parliament yet again. Okay. Now, so I decided to look back and see if, is this it? Yes. So I decided to look back and see what the numbers were before the Conservatives took office. And this is what I came up with. As you can see, even before the Conservatives took office, there were 12,793 people. So there's less people working at the CBSA. Oh, I guess I should prove this is for the CBSA. Sorry. I'm never going to find this page again. Page 12. Public Surface Canada.
But I just think what Trudeau is bringing up is newt, because he's been in power for 8 or 9 years now, and he's blaming the Conservatives from 8 or 9 years ago. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And even his complaint isn't valid because there were more employees back then than there is now.
So whatever they're doing isn't working. Clearly.
Like, this is ridiculous. For him to stand up in the House of Parliament and make that kind of accusation. Let's see if I can back that up to where he's talking before. Come on. This is so delicate.
Facts are that we took office. There were about 12,000 working as CBSA.
So he told the truth there, because there were 12,000 when they took office in 2007. Was it 2007? 2006? Either way, there's 2006-7. There were 12,000, so he's actually being accurate with Canadians. Oh, I gotta take that off, otherwise you don't know what I'm looking at.
Officials, and when we left office, there were over 14,000. So 14,000 is more than 12,000.
But that's not accurate because there was 13,000 when you left. So, to be fair.
Common sense plan to buy 24 scanners so we...
Sorry to interrupt the Prime Minister and to all members. I'm going to ask members please to keep their comments to themselves until they have the microphone or have the floor so that they'll be able to ask their questions or answer their questions. The Honourable Prime Minister has 15 seconds on the clock.
Shut up, biased one.
Mr. Speaker, while Conservatives cut frontline border services officers, along with cuts to the RCMP, cuts to police forces across the country, we invested in them, and we're going to continue to do that with $121 million for Ontario, more investments for port and border security. We're going to continue to step up and keep Canadians safe.
Hear, hear.
That's
the
not what
Honourable
he
Leader
said.
of the Opposition.
Won the 2015 election. The reality is we restored every single border officer they cut and added 800 more.
13,000 employees. 10,000. Looks like he cut it by about 2,500. Anyway, what did you have to talk about tonight, Black Sheep? I've been just babbling on about carbon tax, and now I'm into this lie. I'm sure you had things to talk about.
Well, the thing I wanted to bring up was I just sent you the link. It's I'm pretty sure it's from today. Yeah, it's from today. And Pierre Poilievre was interviewed by the mainstream news on Alberta's transgender proposals and the support for Ukraine. And if you want to pop that video up, and we can talk about it.
Just give me a sec here.
You can kind of skip the first so many minutes because it's in French.
How many minutes?
Can't remember. Maybe 3-4 minutes.
Cette solution hier, ils n'ont pas mentionné, et qui va fixing the budget and stopping the couper tax impôt, bâtir de man, that axes the tax, builds the homes, fixes the budget, and stops the crime.
I wish he would stop doing that.
Building the home.
I wish he would stop using these repetitive buzz phrases. I really do. I mean, I get it why you're trying to do it, but it gets really annoying to me. He needs to stop that. But anyway, I'll let this play.
Homes, fixing the budget, and stopping the crime is just common sense, and it's exactly what we need to repair the damage after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, who has doubled housing costs by funding bureaucracies that block building and printing $600 billion of inflation.
Yeah, we know you got your speech down, Pat.
He's given Canada the most expensive housing by far in the G7. Housing costs have increased 40% faster than incomes, the worst gap of any G7 country, the second worst of all 40 OECD countries.
Okay, where does it get to it? Is it in questions? Because actually, I find that's when the best points are.
Yeah, it's a bit farther up.
Okay.
Get back his 2021 Dodge Ram. That's a consequence. I'm going to spend it on. He called CBSA. They said, we can't help. You'll have to call. Found out that it was at the Port of Montreal. Pinged that it was over at the port where I was yesterday talking about car theft. So he called the cops and said, good news, I know where my car is. They said, well,
we just went over that.
It just so happens I have a solution for that, which is that we should have scanners that allow us to look into the boxes to figure out what's there. Now, Trudeau spent the money on consultants. I'm going to spend it on scanners and 75 border officers so that we can open the right box and Mr. Roos can get back his 2021 Dodge Ram. That's a common sense solution. So that's what we need, common sense, to repair the damage that Trudeau has caused after 8 years. He's not worth the cost, he's not worth the crime. But when I'm Prime Minister, we're going to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime.
Do you support age restrictions for puberty blockers and hormone therapies for trans kids?
I think that Justin Trudeau is trying to divide and distract Canadians by spreading disinformation about the decisions that premiers and parents are making.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I want to know your position.
What is your own party policy? It's your own party policy. A party
I think we
convention.
should protect the rights of parents to make their own decisions.
What does it mean?
With regards to their children. And I believe that adults should have the freedom to make any decision they want about their bodies.
With minors, advanced surgeries and medical interventions for minors, as your own party members suggested.
Medical
sir.
interventions like what?
That is the language that your party
What medical
used.
interventions?
Well, you would have to ask your party members.
What medical
such
interventions?
Such as puberty blockers and hormone
For
replacement
minors?
therapies. Yeah.
Irreversible? You're talking about
I
irreversible?
would like to understand your
I just
position.
want to be clear. No, I want to be clear. I just want to be
Blockers
clear.
for minors.
Puberty blockers for minors?
Do you agree with that?
Do you agree with that?
I think that we should protect children and their ability to make adult decisions when they're adults.
Listen to the media.
So you
That
think
would-
Nuts.
only adults should make, you said yes? Just to be clear, you said yes, only adults should take puberty blockers?
I think we should protect children, let them make adult decisions when they become adults.
I do believe it's illegal to harm children in Canada. Like, you hear the media just going nuts and digging and digging and digging, trying to get their claws into him to make some sort of bad announcement here. And I'm sure their pundits and their spin will go crazy over what he just said, that, children can make adult decisions when they become adults. Like,
Yeah. Well, you already saw it on the CTV website. It was actually one of the top articles. It was.
Oh, was it?
It was that exact same thing. Yep. And I didn't get to see the headline, but obviously it probably said something. Pierre Poilievre doubles down on something. Oh, there. I think there. Oh no. Wait.
oh yeah.
There it is.
Sides with Smiths on trans restrictions. Former Conservative candidate says he's playing with fire.
Right.
I don't know what fire he's playing with. Saying
Protecting children from adult choices is somehow
how is that playing with fire?
playing with fire.
This
children-
whole mentality. You're gonna make me do it, aren't you? I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole. Okay.
Well-
I know everybody in chat's gonna agree with me. I don't think YouTube's gonna like what I'm about to say, but and I definitely know the liberalites that are gonna be completely losing their mind over what I say here. But everyone talks around, and I'm gonna say it like I did yesterday. Everybody talks around the elephant in the room, but no one talks about the elephant in the room. Okay. What I'm about to bring up is not transphobic. It's not bigotry. It's reality. And I live in a real world. I have no problem. And I've known many trans people in my time. Okay. And I've known many good ones, and I've met many that were bad, evil people. Okay. This doesn't come from a place of anti-trans or anti-anything. But it does come from a place of trying to understand reality, and no one wants to accept the elephant in the room. At what point does anybody, whether it's a choice or it's just their biology living their life the way it was meant to be lived, whatever, by living a lifestyle that is not conducive to creating children, at what point does that give you the right on how to bring up children to people that are living a lifestyle that is conducive to raising children? You don't have a say. As much as I've got a lot of say about how the U.S. could run its country better, I don't have a say because I'm not American. I don't live in the U.S. I have nothing to do with the U.S. It's not my place. It's the same ideal. It's just so frustrating to me to hear these activists promoting agendas while living a lifestyle that is not conducive to impacting their own life. You're out of your wheelhouse. Stay in your own lane. I don't know what's the right analogy to put here, but it really pisses me off, and nobody ever speaks about that elephant in the room.
Well, Polyev states, I think it was in that same video, that it's provincial jurisdiction. That's what education is. So,
but even the
it should be
education
left.
department, okay, education does not produce children.
No.
Why do they get a say? Education is to teach children to become adults, and the required mathematics understanding, the understanding of mathematics, the understandings of social interaction, the understandings of history, the understandings of calligraphy. It's not calligraphy.
Well, you could argue with me on this one, but I would say that education is there to indoctrinate the population.
That's what it is now, but that's not what it's... Well, I guess, yeah, you're right. It would be an indoctrination because we teach people to add 1 plus 1 instead of 1 plus 7 equals 1. Right? We don't say 7 plus 7 is equals 1. We say 1 plus 1 is equals 1. Now, some other dimension of Earth could think of 7 as we see 1. And then in their world, 7 plus 7 would equal 1. Or 7, actually. If you know what I'm trying to say in there. So, yeah, I guess we are indoctrinating. But we're indoctrinating the ideals that are spread across entirety of society, not segmented sections of society.
Yeah.
That's what education is for. It's to teach you reading and writing that is accepted across society, regardless of any other segments that you happen to be a part of. We teach you history, which is, I don't know how you can refute history. Like, how can you rewrite? It already happened. How do you rewrite it? It teaches you how to write a letter to your prime minister, how to read right here, as Polyev sides with Smith on trans restrictions. I don't recall her imposing any trans restrictions. Former conservative candidate says he's playing with fire. It teaches you to be able to read that. There's no bias in that. Everybody needs to know how to read that, or, you know, the French version of that if you're in Quebec. Which I don't like the idea of that, but either way. Not that I don't like French. I have no problem with French. I have a problem with a bilingual country saying that English is not welcome in their province. I have a serious problem with that. But yeah. Sorry, I'm off on a rant. Oh my God, Frosty's going crazy. What happened? What's going on here?
Well,
career politician. Yeah, I agree with you on that. He is the answer to Trudeau. He's not the answer to Canada. That has been my opinion from the beginning.
But this whole topic kind of brought something, because I was watching Global News last night, and a bunch of people were protesting the new trans bill that Danielle Smith has enacted in Alberta. And that also brought to light that Tucker Carlson is meeting with Putin to, you know, just to interview him. And
yeah, Walter Cronkite, I believe, interviewed Putin.
And then we go back to an American media source that says that Tucker Carlson is secretly meeting, he's secretly in Russia, and they show these kind of photos that makes it look like he's secretly there. But publicly, he has said, I am meeting with him. Please watch the interview when it comes out.
What's their
So he's not
secrecy?
hiding anything.
What's the difference if it's Tucker Carlson interviewing him or Walter Cronkite?
But those same journalists that are trying
Like,
to bash
what's the difference there?
Tucker Carlson, those same journalists won't meet with Putin to find out maybe if there's a way for this war to end peacefully instead of it going on for another 5 years. Like, it would be much better to maybe, because obviously the Russians have their own propaganda, you can see it. But for us not to have our own propaganda, it's ridiculous. Like, if you watch any mainstream media source in Canada or the US, it's all propaganda.
Yes.
So to say that Russia is the only ones that have propaganda, and China and all these other countries, quote unquote communist countries, and that we don't have the same thing, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, well, Trudeau's comment right here. You got caught. Ooh, I almost said it out loud. I was about to ask him if he had a particular type of cramp. Sorry, that almost came spitting out. Sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain. Sometimes my brain catches it and goes, whoa, 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 whoa. But basically, his propaganda he spewed in the House of Commons, where lies are not permitted. I just proved to you right here. He's flat out lying with his propaganda. Yeah, propaganda is everywhere. And it's completely disingenuous to listen to this man in my House of Commons and your House of Commons, because it's named the House of Commons because it's the House of the people of Canada. It's not his house. This is my house. He's standing up there lying in. Now, Polyev kind of lied as well, because he said there was 14,000 and there was actually 13,000. And Trudeau did tell the truth that Polyev's Conservatives cut 1,000 people, which is evident because there's only 13,000 when they came into office. So there is some truth in there, but then to go on and carry on that he's brought more agents into the fold is a complete lie right there, right in front of you. So yeah, propaganda is rampant. Like just even reading the title of this on trans restrictions. I don't think Danielle Smith imposed any restrictions. I think she upheld parental rights and informed parents that child protection laws will be enforced on parents that abuse their children.
She's protecting children from harmful gender ideology that will affect them permanently for the rest of their life, that will not fix their mental problems.
Right.
If you change what's down there, it's not going to fix what's up there.
They always say gender is not sex, but okay, if it's not sex, then why do you need to change your bottom?
Exactly. If it doesn't matter, then why does it have to be changed?
The only thing the bottom is sex. Why do you need to change your chest structure if it's not about sex? Because the only purpose for the chest structure, well, actually, there's two purposes. One is sex, and the other one is for children.
And I heard someone that was trying to go against this argument and saying then you would have you wouldn't have a problem with the child getting breast surgery, to get enhanced breasts. And it's like,
why did they need that?
I would. I'm 100% against that.
Yeah.
I don't think plastic surgery should be done for children at all.
Hell no.
Unless it's unless it's for
Unless it's
health reasons.
reconstructive surgery after an accident or something. That's the only time I would support any type of cosmetic surgery to a child. Like that's no. Yeah.
So to say it's anything different,
But
like
I mean, an adult wants to go get their lips Botox. Have at them.
yeah, it's your body. If you really want to do that, and if you think it'll make yourself feel better, that's your choice. At the end of the day, like for me personally, it doesn't matter to me. And for me, I don't think you should be changing your body for other people. But that's their choice to make if they're an adult. But to be teaching this in schools and telling them that this will fix your problems. You're maybe neglected at home, but this will fix it if you change your gender because you're going through a phase. It's preposterous and it's child abuse.
Yes. I remember when my daughter was growing up and she got into the teenage thing and she got into her groupies and everything, and they started one of them I think got a tattoo. So my daughter come home and she's like, I'm gonna get a tattoo, da 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 da. I said, yeah, like hell you're getting a tattoo. And then she's like, well, no, if I want to get a tattoo, I'll get a tattoo. And I said, yeah, you're not getting a tattoo. I'm telling you that right now. You are not gonna get a tattoo. And she says, well, I'll pay for it, and then you don't have a say in it. I went, no, I have a full say in this. You are not getting a tattoo. So then when she turned 18, she decided she ended up getting herself a little tattoo, and she kept trying to hide it from me. And then I finally, I knew about it, and finally brought it up, and I was like, well, why are you hiding this from me? And she goes, well, because I know you don't want me to have a tattoo. I said, no, that's not what I wanted at all. I don't care if you get a tattoo. You want to get a tattoo after you turned 18? That's not my business. I don't care. Let me see the tattoo. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. No problem. I have no issue with the tattoo. But it's a life-altering... I was going to say surgery. It's not a surgery. You know what I'm trying to say. You can put whatever word in there. I'm going to call it surgery. I know it's not surgery. It's just the word in my head right now, and I need to move on with the conversation. It's a life-changing surgery that I was not willing to let my child make as a teenager. When she became an adult, she has every right to do that. And I have no problem with it. I'll support her in any choices she makes in that matter. Because it's her life at that point.
Yep, Jones says underage people can't vote. They can't buy cigarettes. They can't get a tattoo, as you were just mentioning. So why would they be able to get major surgery, permanent surgery on their bottoms? That means that they won't be able to reproduce.
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Like imagine you grow up and you're like, oh, I want to have kids now, but I can't because I was indoctrinated as a child.
Yeah.
That would mess you up way more than whatever else you're going through as a child to say that you want to switch genders.
Don't worry, in Canada we have a backup plan for that. It's called MAID.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. It's true though. You're right.
It's true. That's why they need to bring it in to freaking accommodate for mental issues, depression and such.
We caused your mental problems and we will fix them for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's insane. Like, I don't think I've said this live, but when I was a kid, I was like, because I had so many sisters, I was like, oh, I want to be a girl because, there were so many girls in the household, and I was just like, yeah, like, I want to be a girl. That seems cool, but as I grew up, I'm like, no, I really don't want to be, and, I'm okay with my body as it is. But what if I was born today and I went to school and people, like other classmates and teachers, are telling you like, well, let's teach you about gender and let's teach you can change your gender, you can go on puberty, and they're teaching you all these things, and they're like, and then someone else will come out as trans saying that they're the other gender, and everyone is praising them and clapping like, good job, you're so awesome. So they're getting all this dopamine. They're like, wow, I want to be like that too. I want to be praised.
Yeah,
So
kids are malleable, and the the adults around them know this, and they're manipulating the situation to make the children want to be a part of the flashy colors and the fancy dresses and all the sparkly attention and all this jazz. And this is the manipulation that is being invoked. Now, something that I don't know how you brought it to my brain, but you made me think of back in the 80s and I think it was the 90s as well, the big debate about teaching sex in school. I think it was important that we did implement this in schools because sex is one of those topics that was taboo around the house. It still is kind of taboo around the house, around people, and people have difficulties actually speaking on what sex is and everything. So sex education, I think, is important in the classroom, but sex education is not um, perceived gender roles. Sex education was supposed to be, and there was a lot of kickback to this, and you hear it in the undertones of the trans activists that are pushing for this nonsense with Polyev here, like this comment here. Um, and you hear it in the undertones that, oh, well, sex ed is, we're allowed to have sex ed, we're teaching about this and that. But sex ed was never about, teaching you whether to, who you should love. It was teaching you how to, not who or what you should be interested in or anything. It was teaching people how to put on a condom, um, the different body parts. Um, it wasn't about, oh, well, if you feel like this, then maybe you're this. And it was never supposed to be about that because and that is a rabbit hole that every child goes through during puberty. They experiment in all different directions and they discover what they like. Some people like tall women, some people like short women, some people like tall men, some people like short men, some people like men. Well, that's but they go through that period. When I was growing up, I had this best friend, and we were the best friends for the longest time. And then we came into puberty and everything, and it turned out he came to me one day and he says, "You know what? I think I'm gay." And I was like, "Okay." And then I stopped talking to him, stopped dealing with him, everything for about a week, and then I was just like, "Yeah, but he's still my buddy. Why? Why? I'm not having sex with him, but." He's still my buddy. I miss my buddy. And I went back and then became friends with him. And it was just when it came to sex, it was like, nope, we're on two different planes here, dude. But we still had positive interaction. We still remained friends. And hell, I still know the guy today. Like, it's just, sex ed was never designed, never meant to become what it is. Now you're crossing the line. And this is what people were afraid of when they were saying, don't you be teaching my kid about who to have sex with. And this is what the argument was back in the 80s and 90s. And now we're actually living through what they were arguing against. And it's like, to me, it's like deja vu, this whole conversation, to what I remember growing up through. And it's really, really frightening to me to see how far we've allowed this idea to just fester in the background while we were busy going to work every day.
Joan has a question.
Oh,
what do you think the end game is? Less population growth, societal chaos?
You're gonna make me say this out loud, aren't you? I've answered this question before, but in type, in a comment. Depopulation. That's the only end goal. Because if it was any other end goal, no country would encourage, to the degree that our country has encouraged, the development of a culture that is not inducive to reproduction. It makes no sense. How do you sustain your country if your culture is converted to be non-conducive to reproduction when that generation dies off? What do you have left? There's no reason to be this invested into a particular ideology that is this detrimental to the nation's future. So I know this video is not getting monetized now.
That's exactly what I was. I was gonna say the same thing.
This is why I like to have a topic ahead of time that's very carefully aligned. But yeah, I'll just go with it. It is what it is.
I mean, the gate guy. I don't want to say his name. The billionaire, because as soon as you say his name, it's gonna, send YouTube into a frenzy. But
I'm pretty sure we've already got YouTube in a frenzy on this live stream already.
well, I'll just say Mr. Gates. Yeah,
that'll work.
I mean, there's a clip of him saying that we have to control the population levels. We have to lower the population levels. So I don't even think it's a conspiracy to say that's what the plan is.
Yeah, that's why there's so many food restrictions. They're really going after the farmers. They're going after cow burps. Like, burps? Really? Burps? The burps of cows are causing climate change. The burps. Like, and yet people are believing this. And it's like, wait a minute. Can you just take half a second to think about this for a minute? We are paying the price for a cow burping. Our economy is getting destroyed for a cow burping. Our environment is destroyed because of a cow burping. Did anybody ask how many times a moose burps?
I just don't think our environment is being destroyed. Period. Actually, like I just think the planet just goes through cycles, and we're just going through a cycle. And like we went through with the beginning of the video, is there's a lot of other factors that might affect climate. But I feel like whatever we're doing is very minuscule to what's going on around the planet. And
yeah. We are so insignificant to this planet's existence. We're like the anthill in your backyard to the planet.
Yeah, we're whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. There's gonna be a volcano that goes off, earthquakes and all that. That's gonna happen.
This planet don't give a crap that we're here.
Yeah.
Now, going back to where I was trying to go with all that carbon thing and everything, and all the way back to the original conversation, why Canadian advocates say fines for animals and abandonment can be a deterrent. Okay, this is what we need to do. We need to stop having this mentality, this mentality here, or we need to fine them for animal abandonment. We need to stop.
Good night, Kalia.
Oh, good night, Kalia. Oh, my chat's frozen again, I guess, because I didn't see that. Oh, that's not Kalia, is it? Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yep.
We have this mentality towards everything. You look at the trucker convoy. What do they want to do? They want to steal our money. They froze our bank accounts. We have this constant mentality that we need to be punitive, financially punitive for everything that happens in the world. If you do something wrong, oh, you're gonna pay, and blah blah blah. It's actually very detrimental to the cohesiveness of Canada. And like I said for the animal abandonment thing, why, instead of creating fines for this, why can't we create an environment where someone can give up their animal without the reprisal or the stigma or the uh, the taboo of it. Um, the same goes with carbon pricing, okay? Instead of carbon taxing us, why don't we? And I have no problem with this. You want to take off all the tax write-offs for oil companies? Fine, have at it. That makes sense. Oil companies make a lot of money. And you know what? If you take those tax incentives away, they'll create more profit and generate more revenues for Canada because they still have to pay their taxes, right? I mean, it just makes sense. It's actually more beneficial to Canada to take those tax incentives away. And then take those tax incentives and then apply them in such a way that, incentivizes people to create green things. Hey, I've got an idea on how to collect carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere right now. Have no idea how to make that come to market. The government could be incentivizing ways. Hey, you got an idea on how to help our environment? Give it to us. We'll create it and help you do it, or help you show you how to do it. Come to us. We'll get your product going. We'll get your idea going and use that money to incentivize people in all these different areas. Hey, we want to go green. You want to invest into battery power plants, or not power plants, battery operated cars? I have no problem with that. I have a problem that you're going to penalize me while you're trying to create a product that isn't actually available to be utilized throughout Canada. Like, why are you doing this? There isn't an option for me in Northern Ontario to use an electric car, let alone the cost. Then we'll go into the cost of an electric car. You talk about the taxes on gas and everything. You're applying the tax of the gas. There's a detail in gas that people leave out, is that when you buy a tank of gas, I don't know about all across Canada, but in Ontario, there's the Ontario gas tax, okay? I think it's being waived right now, I'm not sure. But the Ontario gas tax, and the point of the Ontario gas tax was to help offset the costs of maintenance and building of roads. Okay? So you take the gas cars off the road, and now you're adding on electric vehicles that don't pay that gas tax. So now we've incurred an even more proportion of the cost of maintenance for roads and building new roads. Plus, you're adding on top of that heavier vehicles driving on these things, wearing them out even quicker.
Well, the thing is that they're gonna change it all to electric cars, right? That's the plan. I don't think it's actually gonna happen in the end, but they're gonna switch it to electric cars, and then they're gonna figure out a way to tax that. So, right now they're trying to make it sound so good that you're saving all this money, but they're just gonna throw a tax on the and they're already doing that. They're already throwing many extra taxes on the electricity and whatever else. So, they're gonna find another way to tax us.
Anybody that needs to drive on a road that heavy transports drive on knows the wear and tear that road takes on because of the weight of the transports that drive across it. Now, an EV car, those batteries weigh a shit ton. They end up making the gross vehicle weight higher than on an average car. Okay? So now that's going to create even more wear and tear on these vehicles. Let's talk about parking garages. Okay? You look at they're structurally designed to have specific amount of cars, parking spaces. Okay? And it's designed in such a way so that the spans can support the weight of a car in every single one of them's parking spaces. And they create height restrictions so you can't bring heavy vehicles in there. Okay? If you think about it with parking garages. Now,
I never looked at it from that angle.
You turn around
that's interesting.
And create these little tiny EV cars that weigh twice as much as a tiny car. Now you've doubled the structural load in that parking lot. Okay? But you haven't built any more structure to it. You've just assumed that, it's been standing for all these other cars. but it was allocated for a certain weight value. Now you've doubled the weight of every car in there. Now you've doubled the entire weight. It's no longer structurally feasible. I don't know. I try and look at these things from different angles, and it's really, really, that's actually the whole point of Down the Rabbit Hole, eh? Try and look at things at a different angle than what we're being spit at. And I think we're too punitive, too quick to be punitive without offering opportunity to be what we're the best at, inventive. You know, give us the opportunity and the ability to create the environment that you're trying to create. We will do it. What?
I want to read a few comments.
Sure.
Frosty earlier said, we're still coming out of the last ice age. The climate is definitely changing and temperatures increasing, hence consistent record-breaking temps. So we should be prepared, not alarmist about it.
Yeah. What are they doing to prepare us for warmer weather? Absolutely nothing. When was the last time you heard a government initiative plan that was preparing us for warmer weather?
That does not ring a bell.
Exactly. But we have to pay because the climate's changing. Well, what are we doing to actually prepare for it? Because it is changing. And Broccoli is right. We are still on the tail end of the last ice age. Ice ages last tens to hundreds of thousands of years. Our last one was just 11,000 years ago. We are still on the tail end here. The climate will be changing. It should be still changing. But that's not part of the conversation when it comes to climate change, is it?
And Joan said, I'm still waiting for Trudeau to plant those 3 million trees or whatever.
Oh, God. The 1 billion trees. Fucking foresters in this country plant more than that every year. Oh, that is so dumb. Ah, God, Trudeau's an idiot. That's where he was getting that number from the foresters around Canada who are already doing that. That's where those numbers come from.
So then he could take credit for it.
Exactly.
And Joan said, have you ever thought of leaving Canada since Trudeau came in?
I have. I'll be honest, I have, but I can't.
I would leave because I have nothing really keeping me here, but it's a lot more difficult than just leaving. If you have a way for me to leave, I'll take it, and I'm out of here.
I can't because this is where my grandson is, and I will do what I can to make his country as best I can make it, so he could have the life that I grew up with, and the opportunity that my life gave me that I did not take advantage of.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we are at 2 hours here, and I thank you everybody for watching and chatting and being a part of this and putting up with my nonsense about how animal abandonment equals CO2. I hope it made sense on how I equate that over to the carbon conversation. Otherwise, I just sound like a raving lunatic. Well, that's not far off either, though. But I think going forward, I think we're going to do this. Black Sheep, I'm going to give you a task for the next Down the Rabbit Hole. Your task is to find 3 obscure articles or papers or discussion things to bring up to me. Don't bring them to me beforehand so I can be prepared for them. Make me think about them. And I will come up with some ideas. I'll give you a general theme on the direction I want to go in the next thing. I usually do that on Sundays, usually let you know what I'm thinking for the week. And then I'm going to give you the opportunity to go find some information that we can just kind of go. And then I'm going to also have my slew of crap.
Sounds like a plan.
Does that sound
And,
good to you
just-
guys?
Yeah, I just want to thank Joan, Broccoli, and Kalia, and everyone else who's joined us for this live stream, and look forward to next week's broadcast.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. And welcome to the Fringe.
Welcome to the Fringe.
You